Okay, hello and good morning. Let's take a look. We are reviewing. Okay, you have a test this weekend on factoring. So let's take a look here. Um, Anyhow, let's see. This one right here, there's nothing in common, but this is a perfect square, and this is a perfect square. So that gives me 3x plus 2 and 3x minus 2, and you're done. This one right here, there's nothing in common. You can actually factor this, but it's more algebra 2. So for now, we're just going to say prime. Okay. This one right here, 8 plus 1 is 9, so 3 goes into both of these. So you would take a 3 out. So when you take the 3 out, you're left with x squared. And 3 goes into 8 twice with 2 left over. 3 goes into 21 7 times. That should be your answer. This one right here is the difference of two squares. And so your answer is going to be 2x plus 7 and 2x minus 7, and you're done. Okay, so today you're going to have a worksheet that looks like this. Okay, and then we'll flip this over like this. Okay, so I want all of these. Put a mark by the ones you need help with. Let's go on to geometry. All right, look here. Now I tried to teach you guys the track method, okay? So the heartbeat, which looks like this, okay? So regardless of what they want, like if they want it Z, you would still have to do the altitude. This is called your altitude right here. So you can start at either side here. I'm going to start at the 4. So you're going to do 4 over x, real simple, equals, and then you come down, equals x over 20. Okay, so you're going to get x squared here equals 80. And so x, you got to do the square root. X is equal to the square root of 80. And we'll leave it like that. Okay, on the test, you'd have to use your calculator. So scratch this out and put the square root of 80. Now what you can do is Pythagorean's theorem here to find z, and you can do Pythagorean's theorem here to find y. So that's basically it. Now I'm just going to set these up. So for a z, it's going to be the square root of 80 squared plus 20 squared is equal to z squared. Okay, this section right here really is not hard at all if you do the heartbeat method. This right here is 400, I think, and so you're going to get z squared. So z is equal to the square root of 480. And then again, you'd use your calculator. Okay. And then finally, for y, you would do 4 squared plus the square root of 80 squared is equal to y squared. It's really simple. Okay, so this is 16 plus 80 is equal to y squared. So y is equal to the square root of 76. And again, here are your answers, and you would use your calculator. Okay. Some of you may not know how to do the shift key, so make sure you practice, like 76, shift, square root. Make sure you get 8.7, because that's what I want on my test. And actually, it's going to be online, so you're going to pick the best answer. Take a look at this. 3 square root of 7, watch, and I want you to use your calculator. Remember, today is calculator day check. So I'm going to do 7, shift, square root, and then times 3. Do that one time so you remember. So it's 7.9. This one right here, the square root of 20, is 4.5 approximately. Okay, but what I really wanted you to do was extract perfect roots. Like for this one, you would do 2 times 10 is 20, and then 2 times 5 is 10, and then here you have a perfect square, which is 4. So the square root of 20 is really the square root of 4 times 5. We talked about this once before. The square root of 4 is 2. So really, the square root of 20 would be 2 square root of 5. I want you to know that, okay? And again, if you wanted to put, say, that 3 back in, you'd have to square it. So it'd be 9 times 7 would be the square root of 63. Okay, make sure you can do it both ways to be proficient on the EOC. We have one more section to go over here. So on a new sheet of paper, I want you to copy down everything you see here. We're dealing with proportions and triangles. Notice this is called the side splitter theorem. Okay? If a line is parallel to one side of a triangle, if then, this is called a conditional. Remember, your hypothesis is the first part without the word if, and the conclusion has two lines. Okay? And there it is. So we have a conditional. It says if you have a triangle and a segment parallel to one side, then it splits it proportionally. Now watch how I do this. This one they tell you ln from here to here, ln is 9.6. You with me? All right, so we want to set up some kind of proportion. Normally I would do top over bottom equals top over bottom. Okay, but we don't know this. So here they're giving us the whole thing. So what I'm going to do is top over the whole thing equals top over the whole thing. So I'm going to say 3 over the whole thing is 8, because you got to add up these two, equals the top over the whole thing, which is 9.6. And this is going to actually work, believe it or not. So we're going to multiply here. So we're going to multiply. So it's going to be 3 times 9.6, press equals, and then divide by 8. So what we have is 3.6 is the top piece, and if you subtract these two, you get the bottom piece. Okay, so the bottom piece here, minus 9.6, it's going to be a negative, but just disregard that. So the bottom is 6. Okay, and there it is. 6 plus 3.6 equals 9.6. So watch the pattern again. Again, normally I go top over bottom equals top over bottom, but they gave me the whole thing. So it's top over the whole thing equals top over the whole thing. Okay, that's called the side splitter theorem. There's something that is called the mid-segment, triangle mid-segment theorem. It says if a segment joins the midpoints of two sides of a triangle, then it's parallel. So if you take a triangle and you find the midpoints and you draw a line through it, then this side will be parallel to this side. Okay? Triangle mid-segment theorem. If you join the midpoints, it will be parallel. All right, draw this triangle here at the top. Put example 2. All right, now look, notice that these two are parallel, but not that one. Okay, so if you were going to go top over bottom and top over bottom, it would not work because y is not parallel. Okay, but you can go this top to the parallel line. So you could say 16, and then here you could say 12. So here you could say top over bottom equals top over bottom, just like that. Okay, again, I want it to go 4 over this equals 3 over this, but again, this y right here is not parallel. So you got to use all of this, and you got to add these up. Okay, it's got to be the parallel pieces. Anyway, so you cross multiply, so you're going to get 16x equals, and this would be 12x plus 24, and then what you want to do is subtract 12x from both sides, and that gives you 4x is equal to 24, divide by 4, and you get x equals 6. Okay? And then you can try to find y and z if you're really ambitious. Draw this one right here, example 3. Notice that all of these streets, because in the book it's a street, are parallel. They're all parallel. So you can just do x over 60 equals 24 over 72. So x over 60 equals 24 over 72. You multiply, cross multiply, and divide. Okay, you were taught how to cross multiply and divide. This one, to get y, I would do 60 over 24 equals 72 over y. And that should work. There's a lot of things you can do. So we have x and y if you just know how to cross multiply. All right, one more. The triangle angle bisector theorem. Okay, so if you take a triangle, this big triangle here, and you bisect the angle, then it divides it proportionally. Now the book shows you a different way, but I think this way is going to be easier. Watch. Top over bottom equals top over bottom. Notice the dolphins are swimming in the same direction. Okay, now work that out right there. So you're going to distribute. So it's going to be 36x and then minus 36 is equal to whatever that is. I think that's 54x. And then 7 times 18, I have no clue. So that's going to be a negative something. So 7 times 18, that gives me 126. And I left my x off right there. All right, so now draw your line. You want to subtract 36x from both sides because that's smaller. So you're going to get a negative 36 there. This right here, 14, I think it's 18, but let's make sure. So 54 minus 36 equals 18x minus 126. So now you're trying to get x alone, so you want to add 126. Now if you can't solve this, it's not because of the geometry, it's because you need help with your algebra. So clear that out. 126 minus 36, press equals, I get 90, and then divide by 18 and you should have your answer. So 90 divided by 18 and I get 5. And I'm done. Okay, so I went over everything you need to know for this section. If you get stuck, I want you to ask. Okay, so here's your assignment today. I want you to do page 337. This is section 7.5. I want 6 through 30. It helps if you draw the diagrams, but I know most of you have your workbook. And number 31, if you dare. Okay, good luck. Remember, you have a test this weekend, and have your calculators out. Bye for now.